This podcast is sponsored by nobody. Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today I will be welcoming Marian Hailey Moss. Now Marian's had an interesting career. You know, she started out very extensively trained in theater. And then in 1970, she played some supporting roles in some counterculture movies. Jenny with Marlo Thomas and Alan Alda, Lovers and Other Strangers, which had a powerhouse cast. Man, Gig Young, B. Arthur was in it. Cy Young directed it. But then she was also Jerry Reed's wife in the very underrated Walter Matthau and Robin Williams comedy, The Survivors, celebrating its 40th anniversary this year. And even though she's only in that one scene, she's just hilarious in that short scene that she's in. And I wanted to get somebody from The Survivors on here to talk about it a little bit. Marian's also in the 1972 made-for-TV remake of Harvey with Jimmy Stewart. She guest starred on Love American Style, The Trials of O'Brien. She did some voice work for Dr. Seuss. Her late former husband, Jeff Moss, worked on Sesame Street. I think, you know how inaccurate IMDb is. I think she may have done some voice work for Sesame Street, but I have to ask her. She's also an animal rights activist, and she writes children's books. And we're going to talk about all that stuff today, and I cannot wait. So yeah, here is my interview with Marian Hailey Moss. So, going back in time, did you gravitate toward acting early on in your childhood?
Oh, yeah. My mother left me. I grew up in Portland, Oregon. And my mother went to some kind of club called the Delphinium. And she left me downstairs with the drama teacher. So I was 4 years old, and we did little scenes and everything.
Right.
Yeah. I also learned how to stop the hiccups at drama class. You put your thumbs together very slowly, right, just in case any of your listeners have hiccups.
So you did school plays and community theater and all of that? Yeah, you're born and raised in Portland.
Well, I left Portland at 5 years old to go to St. Paul, Minnesota. And then we left St. Paul when I was about 8. And I really grew up in Seattle, Washington.
Nice. My dad lives in Marysville, so I'm very familiar with Oregon and all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where my dad comes from. Yeah. His dad had a wheat farm in the Dalles, Wasco, Oregon.
Right. So after high school, you attended the University of Washington and got a degree in drama. Did you do like Shakespeare and musicals and all of that stuff?
I'm not the musical type because I can't sing. Yeah. But I did Shakespeare, and I did, at the time, the University of Washington had 3 theaters going for the drama students, and each play would run 6 weeks, and we'd be rehearsing a play while we're performing a play. So it was really sort of like summer, the stock. Now it's much more geared for teaching drama. And much more theoretical. I think you have to be a master's student in order to perform there.
Right. So did you have any classmates there that went on to become successful in acting?
Yeah, Dawn Wells.
Oh.
She was, what?
I was going to say, yeah, Marian.
Yeah.
From Gilligan's Island.
Dawn Wells. And in my time, Dawn Wells, Dawn Wells became famous after we left. But during my time, there was one girl who I think was discovered by Frank Sinatra.
Uh-huh.
She was blonde, and we were all excited about that. I can't remember her name now. This is a long time ago, Tommy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to be 82 in a couple of weeks, so
Yes.
you're digging up a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah, that could have been anybody. Sinatra, he loved his blondes, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. And then after that, did you move to New York?
Well, no, I moved to, where did I move to? San Francisco.
Oh.
And I worked a year and a half at the Actors Workshop, and then I worked, did Ashland a couple of summers, and I did a show in, let's see, I forgot what it's called. It's not Chinatown, but something in San Francisco. It was the Little Fox Theater.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a role in Private Lives. And the people that produced that and were in Private Lives took Under the Yum Yum Tree to New York, and they took me with it. And that's how I got to New York.
I'm born and raised in San Francisco. I love talking about the old times of San Francisco. I've talked to people who were...
I don't think it's the same anymore.
Oh,
you know,
no.
when I was there... No.
No.
When I was there, it was... the beatnik crowd was on the streets. Now I think there's so many homeless people there. It's really sad.
It is awful.
And it's also very expensive, my God.
Yeah, it is.
I had an apartment on Pine and Powell. I think it was for $125 a month.
Yeah, it's awful now, but back in those days, it was wonderful. I've talked to people who studied at the American Conservatory Theater, and you know, they had comedians at the Hungry Eye in those days. It was just a magical time.
Yes, Mort Saul and the other one. Yeah.
George Carlin and Jack Burns used to perform there. And
I saw at the Onion, the Purple Onion.
Yeah.
I saw Barbara Streisand.
I used to play the Purple Onion when I was a comedian.
Really?
Yeah.
You're still not a comedian? You sound kind of serious.
I did it for 10 years, from 06 to 16, and I got to play the Purple Onion a couple times, including...
That's great.
With its new name. I can't remember what the new name is, but it's still the same place. It looks great, so...
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I guess where you are now is kind of serious. I mean, are you on a life raft or the Ark or something? It's kind of wet there, right?
I live in Redding, California, and there's a lot of bad thunderstorms, bad heat here. It's awful over here. We're going to move soon, hopefully.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, it's getting worse and worse, isn't it?
It is. It's only going to get worse, sadly, I think. But
yeah.
So then you go to New York. Did you study acting with anybody like famous out there?
Well, I went to 2 classes to Gene.
Dominion?
No, he's not a comedian. Gene. Oh, God, I can't remember. But anyway, that was it. I got married and had a lead in a Broadway show the first year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Neither of them lasted. What?
You mentioned that you weren't the musical type. But I was reading that you were in the Ohio, company in Ohio.
No.
Or maybe that was just
Ohio.
I've
never been to Ohio.
Yeah, maybe that was another person that IMDb got your name mixed up with.
Well, how many do you interview? I mean, you're quite busy, right?
Yeah, but
I'm
sorry. We're doing a lot of crosstalk here, but it did say on your IMDb that you were in the play company in Ohio.
What's the IDV?
IMDb.com. That's where you get the acting credits and all of that stuff.
No, it was on Broadway.
Yeah. Well, they have a theater section on there.
Yeah, well, company I did on Broadway.
Okay. And
I did it for what?
George Chakiris and Elaine Stritch.
That was George Chakiris, and Elaine Stritch was in when we went to Boston, Cleveland,
That's probably what they meant.
and Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's probably what they meant.
Oh, Cleveland's in Ohio.
Yeah.
Oh, God. You're right. I'm sorry, Tommy.
It's okay. Yeah, but the IMDb is never completely accurate, so I totally understand.
Well, you're being very nice.
Thank you. Yeah, New York was just a magical time back then. There was no internet. Everybody knew each other. It was just very much a camaraderie.
Well, I've never, yeah, but I was thinking today, I Googled Jerry Reed
Yeah.
because I didn't know who he was when I worked with him.
Yeah.
And he made a big impression on country music.
Oh yes.
I didn't know that.
Oh yes. Well, we're gonna get there slowly.
I mean, I would have known that if there had been Google, but there wasn't Google.
I know a lot of people I've talked to. They said that when they worked with certain people back in like the 70s and 80s, they didn't know the impact that certain people had. Because there was no Google back then.
Exactly. And I didn't listen to country music. I love it now, but I didn't know.
Yeah, country is one of those genres that you don't really get into until later in life, unless you've been indoctrinated into it growing up. It's an acquired.
I guess so.
It's an acquired taste. In 1965, you did 2 episodes of The Trials of O'Brien with Peter Falk. How was that experience?
It was wonderful. He was so kind, so gentlemanly. I did one. I was in some kind of jury, and the other one I did. What did I do? The lead in Never Bet on Anything That Talks. I think I was a prostitute. I can't remember. I was blonde, and my eyes. They made my eyes very big, and it was fun. But it was really fun. He was very nice. He said to my husband at the time he had never worked with such a good actress. But then that was before he worked with John Cassavetes and,
many movies.
His wife, who's fantastic.
Yeah, they worked together for many years. They had a real kinship. Yeah. And you got to work with some great actors in those episodes. Phil Foster, Kenneth Mars, Cloris Leachman, Robert Loggia. Wow. That's a cast.
I love Kenny Mars. I did stage work with Kenny too.
Yeah, he was so great in Young Frankenstein when he had that mechanical arm.
That was very funny.
Yeah.
You mean Springtime for Hitler?
No.
Remember he did the Mel Brooks Springtime for Hitler?
He did do that. You're right. Yeah, that was later. But yeah, he was in Young Frankenstein. He was the inspector, police officer with the mechanical arm. The metal arm.
I didn't see it. No.
Yeah, and he was in What's Up, Doc with Ryan O'Neal and Barbra Streisand before that, and he was a very talented guy.
Oh, we did. What did we do? He played a psychiatrist in another play I did after the first one. Mm-hmm. Well, I think it was something. I don't remember. Anyway, and then there was what's the one that Sandy Dennis was in so long? On Broadway, I'm trying to say.
Sandy Dennis. It could be anything. I don't know. That woman had a huge career.
Yes.
But you worked with her in a play?
Well, no, I worked with Kenny. He was in the play by the time she left. And one week I took over for Barbara
Streisand?
The singer.
Barbara Streisand.
No,
No.
not in this play. Oh God, I can't remember.
Barbara Harris?
Hmm.
Maybe-
Yeah, no.
I think maybe it was 1,000 Clowns was the play or something.
Well, I did that in Philadelphia, but Kenny wasn't there.
Okay.
No.
You did an episode of Hailey.
Any Wednesday.
Oh.
Any Wednesday.
Any Wednesday.
Okay. So I was once, well, when Sandy Dennis left, Barbara, the one that sang so well, Barbara. Well, anyway, I was understudying her understudy because they both had to leave because their mothers were ill. So I did the show for a week with Kenny. He was very funny.
Yeah.
And I just loved the rest of the cast.
Then you did an episode of Hey Landlord, which was an early Gary Marshall and Jerry Belson sitcom. Was that fun?
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Will Hutchins.
I think,
Will Hutchins and Sandy Barron.
Sandy Barron was very worried about it getting it right. So we had to rehearse, and then we went to Carol, you know, the very famous Carol.
Channing? Carol Channing? Carol Channing, Carol Burnett.
Carol Burnett.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't talk show business.
It's okay.
So you'll have to forgive me. We went to Carol Burnett's sister.
Yeah.
And we had to do something there because Sandy Barron was so worried. But the show was fine.
Mm.
He was dear.
Yeah. How do you get cast in Jenny?
How did I get cast in Jenny?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I got cast, but I was very... I don't remember. But I was very taken back in our love. I don't know, we had some kind of scene where I was supposed to be on top of Alan Alda, and he was very shy.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised at that. And he was talking. You want to hear what Alan Alda was talking?
Oh, yeah, I want to hear everything you got.
He was talking that you have power in your focusing. He said he could focus a fly on a wall to move to a certain place. I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah. It was a pretty bold movie for its time. It had commentary about adultery and avoiding the Vietnam draft. Those were pretty big issues back then. I'm trying to remember, was Marlo Thomas doing That Girl at that time?
Yes, I don't know if she was doing That Girl, but she also was like Sandy Barron in that they were very, very, I don't know what the word, not worried, but they did a lot of prep for their work, their performance. I think she talked with the director and many hours. I don't know what was going on and on.
Yeah, and Alan Alda, he had just done Paper Lion, and he was like 2 years away from doing MASH.
Yeah, he just walked in and did it, you know.
Yeah.
It's interesting, the different work habits of people.
Yeah, you worked with him again on the Seduction of Joe Tynan.
Yes, long time after that. That's practically when I had finished.
Yeah. He remembered you from Jenny?
I don't know. I don't think I didn't audition with him or for him. I auditioned for the director for that.
Yeah, I noticed a couple of people from the Ace Trucking Company was in the movie as well. Mike Mislove, who I've interviewed. and the late great Fred Willard, rest in peace. Did you
Oh,
did you know those? Did you know those guys?
no, no.
Yeah. Then you do Lovers and Other
Well,
Strangers.
where did you get all this information, Tommy? My gosh.
IMDb.com.
No. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Then you do Lovers and Other Strangers.
yeah.
That must have been intimidating to be on a set with legends like Cy Howard, Gig Young, B. Arthur, Cloris Leachman, and Mira. That's a lot of talent there.
No, it wasn't intimidating at all. Everyone was very friendly and very kind, and everybody was kind of jittery about it, and we kind of felt all in the same boat. I remember a couple of days into doing something. I don't know what scene it was, but the producer, what was his name?
Well,
You have it there, and I.
well, Cy Howard, he wrote and directed. Let me see here.
Cy Howard was very strange. He didn't like me, I don't think, or he was trying to see how strong I was. I don't know, but we got along fine. But he was jabbing me a lot, verbally at the beginning.
He was
I don't think he trusted my work at the beginning. But anyway, who was the?
David
You have the.
David Susskind.
Yeah, David Susskind. Okay, the second day or third day we were all together. He came. He was talking to us that he had just been with Shirley.
McLean.
Oh God, no.
Jones.
Shit.
Shirley Jones. Shirley MacLaine.
Maybe I should have the IDBM in front of me. Now, she's Shelley Winters.
Shelley Winters.
And Shelley Winters, he had a talk show at the time.
Right.
And Shelley Winters was giving him trouble on the air, and he was worried about that and wondering if it went out all right and if any of us had seen it or something.
Right.
We thought,
Right. How about?
no, it wasn't intimidating. And Annie Mirror was the most down-to-earth person. And she was so kind on the set. She was just wonderful. And, gosh. Well, go ahead. You have the list there.
It was Diane Keaton's first movie.
Yeah, that's what I was. Diane Keaton and a bunch of us were in a limousine, and Diane never talked. But she was, very pleasant and all, but she never. Gig Young was talking about his teeth in the car.
Yeah.
And about making jokes and everything, and Diane, she never said a thing.
Bonnie Bedelia, she was, I think it was her
I
first
didn't
movie.
even talk to her ever. Can you imagine that? We
know.
never talked to one another.
I know.
And
Bonnie Bedelia.
She's so pretty.
Yeah.
And she was, she was a kid actor, wasn't she?
I believe so, because
In other words,
Macaulay Culkin is
she
her
just-
nephew.
who?
Macaulay Culkin. Yeah, that's her nephew.
Yeah. Well, anyway, she just took it as a matter of course. It's interesting, now that we're talking, to remember the different attitudes actors have before they go on.
Yeah.
She just took it as, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I have heard Meryl Streep is like
She was
that.
pregnant at the time.
Oh, yeah. I know that Meryl Streep is like that. She'll be talking about one thing, and then once the cameras are on, she becomes that character.
Well, that's the way, what's her name? Oh, God.
Diane
Maybe I
Keaton.
should've-
Diane Keaton.
No, I didn't know. I didn't see her prep work.
Okay.
But, well, who was in Harvey? You got it there. Oh,
Harvey.
Helen Hayes. That was
Helen
Helen Hayes. She used to be talking about planting her tulips
Yeah.
and what's going on in the neighborhood up there and wherever she was upstate.
Mm-hmm.
And her cue came on. She'd just go on and be, Vida Hughes. She was like that.
How about
She was an old trooper.
an old trooper, huh?
Yeah.
How about the Impatient Heart with Carrie Snodgrass?
Oh my God! I don't know what happened with Carrie. I don't think she lived much longer than that.
No, she died probably about 30 years ago or something.
But I was in a bathtub in that
Mm-hmm.
Play or TV show,
Right.
and she was puffing up the suds and doing things that a prop person would do. I don't know. She was. I can't explain it, but she was beyond sweet. She shouldn't have been doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, you don't. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do, yeah. That she had so much talent, she shouldn't have been doing that movie.
Yes. She was. Yeah, she was a wonderful person. And then, I don't know, well,
So,
am I saying things that are undiplomatic?
no, not at all. You're just being honest. You're answering questions to the best of your ability. So there's nothing wrong with that. Next comes the remake of Harvey, as you previously mentioned. I love the original. It's such a classic. What was it like working with Jimmy Stewart?
Well, you forgot Best Laid Plans, and you forgot Keep It in the Family.
Those are not listed because, again, IMDb is not accurate. But if you want to bring those up, you can.
That was the one, Best Laid Plans, that I worked with Kenny again. And
Okay.
Edward Woodward and I were the stars in that. That lasted 2 or 3 nights.
Uh-huh. That was a stinker
And
play.
you know who? What?
That was a stinker play. It just opened and closed.
Yes. And so I gave those two plays.
Mhm.
I was the leads in, and from then on, I was always cast as a supporting character. I guess they gave up on me.
Yeah. I think you're a little hard on yourself.
I think I'm pretty realistic.
So what was it like working with Jimmy Stewart on Harvey?
Oh, it was fantastic. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
He and his wife would, I don't know, he was so tall for one thing. And he just, well, he was wonderful, of course. Everybody in that show was wonderful. But he was nervous also. And he would skulk around the set before the curtain went up, just to get a feel of the audience.
Yeah.
And it was kind of eerie, but that was his way of, he hadn't been in a play for a long time. Years.
Yeah. Yeah, Jesse White's daughter, Carol, is a close friend of mine, and she loves that her dad was in the original and the remake.
Well, Jesse White almost directed that show because Stephen Porter, the director, would do one thing and Jesse said, no, that's not the way it is. And so he'd have to change the blocking and everything. Jesse almost directed that show to be like the original one.
Yeah. Madeline Kahn was in it, and Richard Mulligan, very talented people.
No, Madeline Kahn was not in the Broadway show. Madeline
The movie.
was in the Canadian TV special.
That's what I mean, yeah.
That was a different ballgame.
Yeah.
That we did in Canada.
How come...
And certain people...
Oh, sorry.
What?
I was going to ask, why was it in Canada and not Los Angeles?
I don't know. but we went to Canada because of discounts on the properties and all that.
Tax breaks. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Madeline Connor and Richard Mulligan, two very talented people who died way too young.
Way too young.
How was
Richard was the only, the first play
Yeah.
I was in, what was it called, Mating Dance. Richard was in it, and although we closed the first night, Richard got an award for his performance.
Mm-hmm.
He was some kind of nervous, he jittered all the way through. I don't know how he did it. It's hard to do that. His whole body shook the whole play.
I heard he was a hard guy to get to know. He could be very aloof, I heard.
No, he wasn't aloof with me. He was his girlfriend, who died also way too young.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember her name either. Joan. Anyway, she was the original lead in Mating Dance when they were trying it out in the Philadelphia and stuff like that, in the summer stock.
Right.
And then they recast it. So he was telling me how to play the part all the time, how his girlfriend played it. It didn't sit well with me, but I took it.
Yeah, don't talk about another woman. How was guest starring on Love American?
Joan
Joan Hackett, okay. How was guest...
Beautiful woman.
Oh, yeah, she was a beautiful woman.
Yes, she was.
How was guest starring on Love American Style?
Well, that was the same thing, Bob Dishy and me.
Yeah.
It was the same thing. Something about a chicken, I think. It was fun. Short.
Yeah, IMDb has a picture of you two from it on there, and we get to see your belly button.
Oh, dear, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I like it. It's very cute.
Why did you... Was I in some kind of two-piece bathing suit or something?
Something like that, yeah. It was like, bedroom wear or something like that.
No, that wasn't... that was Lovers and Other Strangers.
Okay, maybe they got the two mixed up because it was you and Bob Dishy, so that's
maybe
probably...
I should log on... Oops. Maybe I should log on
to IMDb.
Yeah.
There was a lot of good guest stars on that episode. There was Jack Klugman, Warner Klemper from Hogan's Heroes, Al Lewis, who was Grandpa Munster, Peter Marshall, Ron...
We didn't see them, Tommy. We just did... They just had us do that thing.
Yeah.
That scene. Yeah.
You did a TV movie called The Mating Season. Do you remember anything about that?
I think... no.
That was Lucy...
I think... was that with Lucy Arnaz?
Lucy Arnaz, Swoosie Kurtz, Megan Follows, and one of her...
Yes,
first
that
movies.
was the last... was that the last thing I did, or was...
that was the next to last.
The next to last. Oh, my husband was so upset about that performance.
Really? Why?
Well, I kind of made it was a funky part.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't too happy about it.
Oh. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Survivors. I think it's hilarious and underrated. Yeah, I'm curious, how did you come to play Jerry Reed's wife for that scene? Did you know somebody involved in it?
No, I got it. This was a very tense time in my life. My husband and I were separating. Mm-hmm. And I think I separated from my agent, Brett Adams, at the time. Mm-hmm. And I got a new agent. I think it was a person in the office of a friend of Lane Stritch.
Huh.
And this was one of the first things she sent me on. And I went to the Mayflower Hotel, and it wasn't a Weinstein situation at all. The director, Michael Ritchie, just had me read the part. And that was it.
Yeah, it's a hilarious little scene you have. You know, you're his long-suffering wife. You see him packing his suitcase. You think he's cheating, but he confesses to you he's a killer. And then after he leaves, you break the fourth wall and go, "Oh, thank God."
Yeah, it's a funny scene. It's not very ethical, but it's a funny scene. And I did it because I really didn't know. I was studying to be a psychotherapist at the time. Mm-hmm. I didn't know if I was going to do that or go back to acting. So it was I was in a in-between place and all that. So Jerry, I guess I was called to rehearse. And the director, Michael, said, go into Jerry's, I guess it was on set. He said, go into Jerry's, what do you call it, the trailer.
Trailer, yeah.
So I went and I was expecting to read the scene. And he just talked and we ended up playing cards. He was so nervous about doing acting. I guess singing is his thing. So he just wanted to get to feel comfortable with me. And had I been more mature or aware or something, I would have tried to, encourage that. But so I just played cards with him. It went on for about an hour and a half. I hope I let him win. I don't remember. And that was it. And I was,
I was going to say, you looked so cute with that short hair.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
It's even shorter now.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you get to meet Robin and Walter?
Well, I did. We didn't. The morning I was called for the scene, I met somebody who had been on Lovers, some producer or something that had been on Lovers and Other Strangers. He said, "Hi, Marian," and I was really out of it. I don't know who he was, but he was familiar. So we just did this. We did the scene twice, and that was it. So there was a party supposedly after the show, and the party was in a what do you call it, brownstone,
right,
in my neighborhood. So I finally went there, and it was all dark, and nobody was there left except Robin, and he was just leaving. And he wasn't he was in a different space, but he was very sweet and very kind and
funny.
So, what?
And very funny.
Yeah, he was just very sweet, and it kind of in his own world. And that was about 10 minutes. He left. I guess I had a Coca-Cola and I left. That was it.
Yeah, it's a very underrated movie.
I never have seen the movie.
You should. It's hilarious. It's a very.
I don't know why they didn't have. They usually have a showing, but it must have been in L.A.
Yeah, probably. It was a very funny movie, and you should see it again, or for the first time. I just saw it again the other day and just laughed out loud. You did voices for Dr. Seuss animation shorts?
Yeah, that's because of my friend Sharon Lerner.
Yeah.
She was producer at the time of Random Kids stuff at Random House, and she called me up to do that. That was after I was divorced, I think. Yeah. And I think she was doing a favor for my ex-husband. He worked at Sesame Street.
Yeah, didn't you do some work for Sesame Street?
No.
Okay, for some reason I thought you did. I mean, you certainly have the perfect voice for it. You could have done puppet voices. I mean, as a compliment, by the
Again,
way.
I think the puppet voices were pretty well set, and I think they, went on for years and years.
Oh yeah.
Don't you? I don't think there was much rotation there.
There were some people who did it for a short time and then left. I know I interviewed at least one of them, and that was in the early years though, like when it first started, like when Brandon Maggart was on Sesame Street.
Brandon has written a lot of books.
Yeah, he's very prolific as a writer.
Yes. And very deep.
Yeah, he's a deep guy. When he and I talked a few years ago, we were both relating, with our alcoholism. We were talking about that and what we went through and stuff.
What did you go through?
Well, I was a bad drinker for a couple of years, and it led to me having a car crash. And I spent 30.
Oh, no.
I spent 30 days in a coma, and
oh my God!
my 8-year anniversary is this weekend coming up.
Oh, Tommy, thank God.
Yes, I should have sent you my bio. By the way, I always send my bio. I should have sent it to you.
Well, you didn't send your bio.
I know, I'm so overwhelmed with interviews that I forget
well, that's
occasionally.
good.
Yeah, I occasionally forget to send my bio, but I should have. But yeah, and I'm just so grateful every day to get the second chance that I have.
I should say, Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sober for since '85.
Uh-huh. Is that what dissolved the marriage, if I may ask?
Is that what?
Did the alcoholism that you went through, is that what dissolved the marriage?
No, that was kept me in the marriage.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, no, because I'll tell you, I alienated a lot of friends being a drunk, and I feel so bad about it.
Oh, well, you were more dramatic. I drank by myself at night, just to sleep, really. Nobody really knew I was drinking. I mean, I think I must have looked pretty bad, but I was never a party person.
I kept bottles of red wine in my closet for a long time, so I totally get that. I know that you've been doing animal activism and writing children's book, but was there a point where you just got sick of acting?
I never got sick of it. I just felt, I think I never can really tell why I gave it up and moved on to be a therapist. And now I'm the happiest writing these kids' books and stuff. I think I just better chalk it up to fate. I really don't know why. Well, I think I think it was always kind of a spiritual quest for me, and when you get to advertise cigarettes and dope and whatever, it can't go very spiritual.
Yeah.
So the cookies. I think cookies was the last commercial I did. So I just moved on.
How many years were you a therapist?
About 40.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm sure you still hear from people whose lives you touched.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. But what made you want to start writing children's books?
Well, I came across this spiritual leader, and in order to do the meditation, we had to be, first of all, we had to be vegetarian, then eventually vegan. And she had an epiphany about 2003 that climate change was going to destroy things around here, which it is doing.
Yep.
And so she felt the quickest way was to stop eating meat and dairy, because 80 billion animals are killed a year just in United States alone. So the karma from that and the actual physical damage from that is not doing our planet good. And it's quicker to stop eating meat than to deal with the gasoline problem. The UN says all this. So anyway, in order just to promote that, I started writing books. And thank God for my second husband, who was a children's writer, so I didn't have to be, a really prolific writer or, difficult. I could write simple books. So that's what I started doing, and I just loved it. Well, also the impetus, I found a wonderful illustrator, Marc Chauvin. He's French. And he just makes all the ideas blossom. It's so much fun to work with him.
Yeah, what's your process to writing children's books? Because I don't know how they're written, because, I've been writing my whole life, writing screenplays. I'm working on my memoir.
Oh, nice.
I'm working on my memoir right now, but, I don't know how a children's book is written necessarily. I mean, it seems to be...
Well, I don't either. I just did it, mostly from experience, stories that people told me. The first one was called A Dog Named Randall, and it was about a dog that was... found had been thrown away on Randall's Island, and I just tweaked it a bit and made it vegan. It was kind of funny. And then one of the porters here, found a fledgling pigeon, and we couldn't find the parents, so I took it in, and eventually it took it to the Wild Bird Fund. And so I just write about things that I know.
Yeah.
And what makes it blossom are these images that Mark does. I don't know how to write children's books. You just write them.
Yeah, that's what I was
It was the same with acting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, children's books, they seem to rely on illustrations and pictures, and then I guess the writer just adds words to it,
Yeah, it depends, I guess, on what age group you're writing for. There's the wooden books, or the from 1 to 3, and then I write mostly for the middle.
Middle children.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've done what, 17 books now?
Yeah, well, about 20. Yeah.
Ah, that's wonderful.
Well, the thing is, I tell you, during the pandemic, I wrote 6 of them, and I was sitting in front of my computer, and I started when the pandemic lessened. I got up, and everybody's telling me, Mary, you got to get away from the computer and walk. So I started walking a mile a day and all that. And all of a sudden, I got up in the middle of the night, and I couldn't walk at all. So finally, 6 months later, I'm going to go. I have enough energy to go to the sports doctor this week and see what's the matter. But it's sort of funny because it's coming around. My first acting presentation in that little group in Portland, Oregon, they had us do the Christmas Carol, Tiny Tim. See, And Tiny Tim, my mother got the book and everything. There was no dialogue for Tiny Tim, so I just got up and limped around and said, "God bless us all," and what. And I was the star of the group because nobody else did anything. So I'm still back now, limping and saying, "God bless us all." I mean, it's just come full circle. It's so weird.
Yeah. Now you wrote.
Well, I guess.
Now you wrote a memoir. Dreams need feet to walk on. What made you want to write your story?
Well, the doctor of my folks said, "You have to." What is this? The doctor of my folks said, "You have to come." They lived in Los Gatos, and I'm in New York. And he said, "You have to come out here and help your mother. My father had lung cancer at the time, and my mother was in her 90s. So I went there, and I was expecting, once my father passed, to bring my mother to New York, but she was too frail. So I stayed there for 3 years, and it was very, very intense. And when I came back, it was just so moving to me. Sorry, I had to do something with it, and so I just wrote. And then I continued writing, it's a memoir of different shorts, But the first one was about my folks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Has it gotten a good response since it came out?
Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not on the bestseller list.
Yeah. I don't even know what's on the bestseller list these days. But everyone's like writing a book now.
Are they?
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting phenomenon.
Well, I think it's very therapeutic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also, too, they're tired of answering the same questions. They're just like, read my book,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and also, too, you also wrote a book about your cancer survival. Like, how long ago was that?
Well, I'm still surviving.
Oh, you still have it?
No, I'm still surviving.
Oh.
I had an operation. I had breast cancer and had an operation 2006.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still here. But I didn't go for the chemo. I think, the meditation and a vegan lifestyle is what's keeping me going.
Mm-hmm. Do you think we'll ever see a cure for cancer in our lifetime?
I don't know. It's getting worse and worse, There's a lot of karma from all the killing.
Yeah. Everyone's online always like coming up with all these different cures for cancer. Like they said, orange juice is a cure and all this weird stuff,
Well, I think, your lifestyle has a lot to do with it, too.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're causing our own illness, but lifestyle and what one ingests and what one thinks can help a lot.
Mm.
Don't you think?
Absolutely. I mean, I got diabetes last year, and
Oh my God!
I'm conquering it. I've lost 40
Are
pounds.
you heavy?
Yeah, now again. Yeah, I've gone up and down over the years, but I've lost 40 pounds so far, and I'm doing really good.
Great. What is your weak spot? Sweets?
Sweets, yeah. We're all sugar fiends in my family. We all got a sweet tooth.
Is your mother a great cook?
Oh, the best. She's half Italian.
Oh. You're not Ernie Kovacs kid, are you?
I get asked that every day. No, he's got an S at the end of his name. I don't.
Oh, okay.
No, I get asked that all the time, though. Um, yeah, it's pretty interesting. How's the COVID situation been for you?
Well, it's been all right, but my friends are, I'm kind of hibernating it.
Hmm.
And I'm not upset about it.
Hmm.
Everybody said, "Oh, you should stay alone and you should get out more and see more people." Well, there's FaceTime,
Yeah.
and there's all kinds of ways of communicating with people. So I'm extra careful. So far, so good.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, I'm fully vaxxed, and we had a very low death count over here in Reading, which is great. Which it's great, but it's bad for the families involved. You know,
Yes.
I'm sure quarantine.
Well,
I'm sure.
have you had COVID?
No, there was a time when I almost thought I did, but no, not that. Not
Good.
not that's recognizable at least. You know, because once you get vaxxed, you don't have the symptoms, but you can still get it. You know.
Yeah, sure.
But I'm sure it's given you time to write during quarantine.
Yes, that's when I wrote the 6 books, which was great for,
Hmm.
a feeling of creativity and being interested in all that. But it was pretty bad for my leg, I guess.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's at least we're alive. That's the important thing.
That's the important thing. Do you have anything upcoming you'd like to mention?
Well, no, I'm going to do a mailing of my older book, Peepers. If anybody, they can read it. I'm giving it. They can buy it on Amazon, and I'm also putting it on the Mailchimp so they can download it.
Hmm.
So it's the story of finding the little bird outside. That's the latest that I'm doing.
Is that like an anniversary edition or something?
No, it's to celebrate my birthday.
Oh, what are you gonna do for your birthday?
Well, I'll probably have some cake and coffee with my dear friend. She used to be my goddaughter, but we've changed it to friends.
Hmm.
Nothing wild and woolly, Tommy.
I'm gonna be 40 in June. I don't know what I'm gonna do this year, but I want it to be special.
You're a youngster. Well, you've hit a big one.
Yeah, I feel like I've had the life of a 140-year-old. I've had all these amazing moments in my life in just 40 years.
Well, isn't that grist for a stand-up?
Yeah, I mean, life experience is part of it. I mean, for me, I just did just one-liner jokes, because I just love to make people laugh.
Yeah.
Well, Marian, I want to thank you so much for coming on today, and you did fine. I enjoyed talking to you, and I hope you continue writing and just live happily, and that your birthday is amazing.
Oh, thank you, Tommy. It's been so nice to meet you. I wish I could see you. But anyway, I wish you all the best, and thank you so much for having me. It's such, I was so touched that anybody remembered something so far back.
Absolutely.
God bless you.
Absolutely. You have yourself a great day, and be safe over there.
Yeah. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Well, there you have it. Marian Hailey Moss. Ain't she a sweetheart? What a great lady, huh? What a great conversation, too. And I enjoyed talking to her, and I think it turned out great. I mean, sure, she forgot some names and stuff, but everybody I talk to does. I mean, spring chickens isn't my specialty, but you know what? Great conversations with what we have, and at least I remember things and look up things to help them along. Well, until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes.